Away from that now. Since the removal of petrol subsidy in 2023, Nigeria has been navigating one of its most challenging economic transitions, tough on citizens, but necessary for long-term stability. At the center of this shift is the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, led by Farouk Ahmed. The authority has stabilized the downstream sector, enforced cleaner fuel standards, and improved transparency across licensing and distribution. Crude oil production is also improving, now averaging over 1.4 million barrels per day, a boost for national revenue and investor confidence. These reforms reflect strong leadership and the commitment to doing things differently, just as President Bola Tinubu promised. For more on this development, Executive Director, Center for Public Accountability, Olufemi Lawson, shares his thoughts. Mr. Lawson, it's a little over 25 months since the removal of petrol subsidy. What are your thoughts about its impact and how government is handling it?
Thank you. Even though the removal of subsidy was a policy decision of government that met a lot of opposition and resistance at the introduction on May 29, 2023, when President Bola Tinubu took over leadership, it is becoming a reality, especially when you look at the gains that are now being made, as far as the petroleum sector is concerned. Because what actually took us to the subsidy regime that led to the catastrophic, nature that it became was the corruption that was inherent in the whole of the subsidy regime. We had a situation whereby, billions of dollars were spent by the country in the name of fuel subsidy with little or nothing to show for it, because there was no transparency in the system. So majorly, I think one thing we have been able to achieve in the last something month of this removal policy by the federal government is the fact that we now have a system that is ensuring that all the licensing, the monitoring, the distribution of this product has now become so transparent against what it used to be in the past, when almost every Tom, Dick, and Harry, were claiming to import well without doing anything, taking money from the federal government without importing or supplying this product. So we must give it to the agency of government, particularly the NMDPRA, for ensuring that there is now a transparent process in the licensing, monitoring, and distribution of fuel in the country. Not only that, we have been able to, in the last couple of months, seen confidence increasing a lot in the sector, because now we have a lot of people coming in to invest in the sector, because that was one sector that the average Nigerian foreign investor was skeptical about investing in the past because it was riddled with corruption.
I hear you, Mr.
Today
Lawson.
we have a system, even though not to, yeah, I'm with you.
Yes, you've spoken about transparency, but for Nigerians, very importantly, they want the price to come down, drastically, really. If it could be within the range of 300-400, do you think that is something that can be achieved?
Well, that will only be achievable because you understand the prices of petroleum products cannot be locally determined by even the government of Nigeria or the private sector in Nigeria. These product prices are determined by the international market price of crude oil. So the price of petroleum products today in Nigeria is majorly determined by the international price of crude, which is the main source of production of these petroleum products. So no one can really guarantee now. But one thing that we are sure of, which I think we are beginning to see as Nigerians, is the competition in the sector, which has now allowed prices to fluctuate, not remaining static at maybe 1,000 as it was some months ago, or 900. Today we find prices of fuel coming to as low as 880 naira. Some cases will go into 920, 925. This is a product of competition. And this, like I said, is mostly determined by international price of crude oil. Right. But even if the prices of petroleum product comes to 400 naira, without adequate regulation, without transparency, without accountability, Nigerians will still have nothing to benefit from this. It will just be another system where a few become enriched at the detriment of the larger population of Nigerians.
And talking about the NMDPRA, how much of support do you think it's enjoying from key players in the sector?
The NMDPRA is one agency of government that deserves commendation. And I think this is about the leadership. The president has been very strategic in retaining Engineer Ahmed Farouk as the chief executive of NMDPRA. because that agency has been able to ensure that its doors, its books are opened enough to build confidence of investors. And not only that, it has also helped in working to ensure that we meet certain expected global standards. Today we are talking of cleaner energy, clean fuel, which is already mandatory as far as the ECOWAS region is concerned, which is even, we are talking of global emission. So these are things that the agency has taken serious steps towards addressing, and it is a plus, and it has actually impacted positively, understand, on the petroleum sector as a whole, particularly in the downstream sector, which has a direct impact on the average citizens of the country.
I hear you, Mr. Lawson. Executive Director, Center for Public Accountability, Olufemi Lawson, thank you for your time on TVC News at 1.
Thank you, Bas.
The Southwest Zonal Public